Hello, welcome to another interesting show of your interesting episode of the preview show on YouTube on the Complete Football Podcast YouTube channel. So, as we normally do, I'm gonna just take a pause and get my guests on to the live stream and also try to get the links out on social media. So just hang on and don't and be right. I don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Thank you. All right, welcome to the soccer chatter boss. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, brother? I can't hear you. Your mic is muted. It's like your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
It's good. It's good to see the face behind the soccer chatterbox graphic design.
I hope this one looks better than the design.
No, no, you actually look far, far better than the design.
Oh, you're too kind, sir. You're too kind.
So how's been your day so far?
Very well. Very, very well. Looking forward to the weekend and enjoying my
All
holiday.
right. All right. Sorry. The other guest, my other guest, just pulled out for an emergency issue, so he's not going to be with us for today's show. So it's just going to me and you analyzing the topics together.
No problem. No problem.
All right. So let's before without wasting no further time, without further ado, let's go to the first topic for discussion. The Super Eagles are playing Rwanda tomorrow by 5 p.m. Then South Africa on Tuesday. Let me ask
Yeah.
you, Soccer Boss, what are the chances of the Super Eagles qualifying for the World Cup? Look, knowing the fact that we are almost, I think we are on 7 points, South Africa on 13 points. So you can see the
Yeah.
point difference. So what are our chances of still qualifying for the World Cup? Do you see? Is there a hope at the end of the tunnel? Is there any glimpse of hope for the Super Eagles?
Well, I mean, the odds are very, very clear about how the what the chances are. Considering that we are playing two nations that are already ahead of us, which of course we know South Africa is pulling away from the rest of the group on 13, like you said. Everything boils down to what happens tomorrow. If if the Super Eagles get a draw, it's very, very tight. It's far, far tighter. A loss probably disqualifies our chances of making the World Cup. So everything depends on how we do tomorrow because, I mean, you're talking about a Rwanda team that's already on 8 points, if my memory serves me right, and we're playing at home. So many things are riding on the next two games. We lose any one of them, and then it's over. We draw tomorrow. There's only a slight chance, but it's more or less the same. All in all, if we do not win all the games that we have this period, then we're looking at a different World Cup. It cannot be next year's one.
Thank you very much for that analysis. Thank you very much for that brilliant analysis. Okay, we're just going to be looking at the games now. The Rwanda game and the South African game. We're going to start with the Rwanda game. Where do you think the match will be won and lost? Where do you think the match will be won and lost against the Rwanda? Let's start with the Rwanda game. Go to the South Africa game. Boss.
I think if there was any game to really put our best foot forward, it is tomorrow. You can see that from the selection that the coach has done in terms of the squad that he has called up. A lot of firepower is in the squad. You're looking at top scorers from Turkey and Belgium in there with the likes of Tolu and of course the very, 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 very important Victor Osimhen in the squad. I feel that at the end of the day, it's really how we feed the attacking players because we know that Rwanda is a very, very adaptable team. They tend to really, really work hard in the midfield. So that I believe the difference here has to be in the attack. If we can find a way to get the ball to the strikers, who would be able to get in front of the goalkeeper from time to time, I think we have a good chance. However, it really depends on how this team is set up. If we do not have our creative players in the right positions in this game, then the strikers won't have anything to feed off. So I think how Eric Chell sets up the midfield is so key, but I believe that the difference has to be in the attack in this game.
All right, thank you very much. So let's go to the South Africa game. South Africa game is on Tuesday in Johannesburg, if I'm correct. So let's see, where do you think the Super Eagles can get that match right and get the 3 points against South Africa? Because that match is very important, very pivotal to us qualifying for the World Cup. If we don't win that match, it's going to be difficult for us to qualify. So what do you think? The Super Eagles I think we've lost to South Africa before
Yeah.
in Rio, right? So
Yes.
we are going there now. It's going to be an uphill task to try to win South Africa in their home ground. So, what do you think that match can be won or lost?
Oh dear, I think a lot is riding on how the Super Eagles uh, approach tomorrow's game. It depends on the result that they get tomorrow, because they win tomorrow, we walk into Johannesburg with a lot of confidence. If you look at the South African team, they've been really good in this qualifying stage. They have a lot of top players in the squad that have shown that they are ready to compete at the World Cup. Uh, going to going to Johannesburg to play a team that is more or less a couple of points away from qualifying, for me, is just a massive task. We saw. I'm very sure that they are still holding, carrying some grudges from the last Afcon, when we put them out on penalties. And yeah, they have already dealt us a blow in the qualifying rounds, but I do not believe that they will not be confident of getting another one of us on the ninth, because they have the firepower. And if Nigeria doesn't do well tomorrow, I think we might as well just walk over there. We would walk over there with desperation, a lot of fear, and this is what they're looking for. They're looking for Nigerians to be really afraid. They're looking for Nigeria to not get a favorable result tomorrow, because all this feeds into what they want. It is more than just 3 points for the South Africans. There is a lot of, not say bad blood, but I would say that there's a lot riding on it in terms of bragging rights, in terms of how we've constantly compared our teams, our players against theirs. And now there's an opportunity for them to prove that once and for all, this argument can be put to one side, at least with regards to qualifying for this World Cup. So that game for me is honestly, I fear for the Super Eagles, but I'm optimistic because we have players within the group who have played in this sort of circumstances before. We have players that have managed to beat the odds in this same circumstance before. Let's not forget that in the last in the previous qualifying rounds, we've come as close as this, and somehow the team has managed to make it through. Hopefully we can find some match winners that can win it for us over there. But it's really tough because the South African team is so good. They have good defenses. That the goalkeeper, I mean, is one of the best on the continent. So I expect a game that, if they score first, is over for us. My own opinion, but I want to believe that Nigeria can dominate with the squad that I've seen that has been put together for these two games. In any match, we should be able to win. But I just worry about the combinations that the coach is going to put out. If he doesn't get it right, then it's over.
Thank you very much for that brilliant analysis. Before we move from the Super Eagles, I'm just gonna get your predictions for the games. Your prediction for the game against Rwanda, prediction for the game against South Africa. I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. So let's see your
Oh,
predictions.
that is way early, man. That's early. You should have not soft landing. You should have given me soft landing. I'm telling you, you should have. I know that I have sounded a bit pessimistic, given the way that we are, given where we are. But Eric Chell has shown that he's up for the fight. We can't thoroughly blame him for the results in the early parts of the rounds, and he has already started to put together a good set of results. The Unity Cup is one of them. So if I were to really look at both games, I would start with the Rwanda. I think we can get a win by at least 2 goals. I see Nigeria getting ahead and giving ourselves daylight just before the game runs out. So whether it's 2-1 or 3-1, I would go for a 2-0 victory, by 2 goals, a victory by 2 goals against Rwanda tomorrow in Uyo. Against South Africa, I think it's going to be a very tough game, but I believe that if we work hard It's very hard. So hard. It's so hard to pick a score for this game. It's and we need a win.
We need to win. We need to win badly. We need to win badly.
We need a win in 2 games, man. We need a win in 2 games. Um, I think that we can scrape a 1-0 victory against South Africa.
Okay.
I feel we can scrape
Yeah.
it. It's only just like a penalty or a free kick, or I feel we can scrape one. I feel that we should be able to win the 2 games, and I feel that 2-0 against Rwanda and 1-0 against South Africa. I feel we can scale through. Yeah, that would be
All
my
right.
prediction.
So, all right. Thank you very much, Dr. Chatterbox. 2-0 win against Rwanda and a slim 1-0 win against South Africa. Okay. By the grace of God, we hope that's going to be the case on Saturday, tomorrow, and on Tuesday against South Africa. So let's move away from the Super Eagles right now. Let's go to the just concluded transfer windows. Let me know who do you think is the winner and who do you think is the loser in the just concluded transfer window. Let me know your thoughts in Europe generally.
Oh, wow. The transfer window for me, it's this year's on is more has been one of the biggest in terms of activity. I would call it a blockbuster transfer window because we've seen some really heavy deals go through. Some teams have really stepped forward in terms of what they want to achieve. You can see those that really want to go for major trophies all around. I think uh, we've seen a lot of real winners here. It's going to be difficult to pick one, but I think the obvious candidate for a winner, in my opinion, has to be Liverpool. I mean, if you are able to pull off a deal as big as the Isak deal, I think you've given yourself a massive edge. Let's not forget that they already purchased one of the top promising strikers in Europe in Ekitike. I love the guy. I feel bad in a way that he's going to have to play second fiddle to Isak, but man, I think Isak is the guy that if he's available and he wants to join your club and you have the resources to get him, I think it only makes sense for you to go ahead and get him. And I think Liverpool have done an amazing job in going to get who I think can keep them at the very, very top of the English Premier League because I see them really having another goal this year, but also a real chance at Champions League. You can see the real intent there. You're getting a striker like him. So when you look at the other guys that have come in, I think they've signed winners all around. You're talking Bundesliga winners in Wirtz and Frimpong. Um, you're talking guys like Ekitike, who, in my own opinion, is one of the best in terms of young strikers in Europe. Then you add Isak, who is coming off the back of a really successful season. So I think they would be my winners for this transfer window. In terms of losers, it's difficult to pick, but to be honest, I was quite disappointed at Man United. I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay, and let me know because I know that there will be a number of United fans that would lose it. But here are my reasons, right? So you have a window in which the goal here is to get the kind of talent that will put you back in contention for Europe. You can clearly tell that the business that Man United are looking for is to get back into Europe. And you would imagine that the first thing that a team of this caliber will be looking for is a top goalkeeper, is a top controlling midfielder. Because I was concerned about the fact that you have a player like Bruno Fernandes, who clearly should be in a creative role, who clearly should be one of the two tens in this Amorim system. I felt that he should have been the guy. This was an opportunity to move him back up front where he's more dangerous and then have someone who is really dominant in the midfield that can help to win the ball back, maintain possession, and protect the back four in a way that allows the guys in front to just do their thing and go from there. And then a goalkeeper, because we've seen that the two goalkeepers that they had there, including Onana, are not ready for this type of pressure. I mean, the Cameroonian has shown that he needs a different environment. He can't just function in this setup. He can't function in this team. And every single time he steps on the pitch, you are expecting something wrong to happen. And he has shown that even in the very first game that we've put him in this season, I felt that that position should have been addressed quite early. I did not think that a striker was the problem, but that's just me. I did not think that a striker was the problem. I think that it remains to be seen, but I strongly feel that by the end of this season, Man U might just regret the opportunity, the decision that they took to send Hoyland to Italy. We've seen this happen with McTominay in last season, where they took the decision to let him go, and this is someone that finished the season as the Serie A's best player with a Serie A medal on his neck. Who says that that can happen with Hoyland? And I felt that he deserved another chance to at least show that he can function in this system, given that there's a full preseason. You had Hoyland in the entire squad throughout preseason, and then as the season is about to start, you let him go. No doubt that Sesko is a top player, but I felt that the striker wasn't the problem. The goalkeeper was, and a gap in the midfield was there, and Man you have still not addressed it. We're going to walk through this season. Yeah, there's a goalkeeper that has come in. I mean, the new goalkeeper, I can't remember his
Yeah,
name.
Fen Lamens, yeah.
Right? He has a good look about him, but I think he's going to take it. We don't know. We don't know what we're going to get from him at this level. He might come good, he might not. But there are no. He doesn't come with any guarantee. And Man, you needed a goalkeeper that comes with guarantees. And so I do not see. I mean, other than Cunha is out, so you can see how big a blow he will be. But I don't see too many positives from what Manuel has done in this window, and I think it might be a problem for the coach as we go into the new season. I expected a bit more. As well, it seemed to be a bit more savvy in looking at what they really needed, and it's only time that will tell if I'm wrong. But I do not see Manu as significantly strengthened in this window. So that would be my pick for a loser. I might be wrong, but that's how it looks for me.
No, no, it's your choice. It's your choice. I appreciate your analysis as always. A brilliant thought. But many will argue that you said Hoyland wasn't supposed to be loaned out to Napoli as he was, but many will argue that they've given him this guy has had two seasons at Manchester United, and he hasn't proven himself. And United are crying out for a striker that will bang in goals week in week out because that is what I think the last season that made them suffer a lot of losses and defeats. So some people argue that he said how long shouldn't be sold, that he should be left at the club. Don't you think Sesko is an improvement on Hoyland, or what do you think?
I mean, only time will tell because Holland did come into Man United with kind of a similar record. Maybe not as many goals as Sesko did, but he came with a lot of promise, which is what Sesko comes into this squad is. Yes, I agree. On paper, you would realize that Sesko is a massive upgrade. Let's not forget that this was a player that was pursued by Newcastle and Arsenal in the transfer window before he decided to choose Manchester United as his destination. But we're talking about a season in which Hoyland went from having started a year with Eric Ten Hag as his manager, and then midway through the season, you move from that to Amorim, who completely creates a different style of play, and then he's 21, struggling to adapt, make that adaptation to a new style. But I felt that a season now that he's not playing on the continent. He's likely to be playing week in, week out. It's not like back then that the coach could chop and change because they had to concentrate on Europe and there was a lot of pressure to at least get something from the Europa League. This is a fresh slate that he has to really set the team and then go again. And then if it doesn't work, we know that he has been given enough time. Sesko is equally young, and they are both at similar places in their careers where they're coming off a good team, into a big team with a lot of expectations. Because I don't believe that like Sesko was facing the same expectations at Leipzig that he's going to face at Manchester United. he's going to be expected to be banging in goals from day one. And last season wasn't exactly a really good season. Let's not forget that Leipzig didn't qualify for Europe as well. So it remains to be seen if Sesko can respond to the pressure of being the guy that has to put the ball at the back of the net constantly for Manchester United, and in a system that I don't think he has played in. At Leipzig, he always played with a partner because of how they are set up. But at Man United, he's going to be given the tools to be basically on his own to go and play up front. How he copes with that, we don't know. We don't know. So on paper, it looks like an upgrade, but I don't know if I fear that Manchester United may have subbed one young, promising goal scorer for another. And if are they restarting a project or should they have continued with the one that they already had? These are questions that we would only answer as the season goes on. But from where I sit, I hope I'm wrong. But I feel that it's a decision that they may come to regret.
Okay, all right, we hear you loud and clear, Socrates Boss. Okay, let's move to our final topic for the day, which is because we talk about the trending stories on this show, the trending stories in football, especially in Europe. So we're just going to talk about the news that broke out yesterday. I don't know I'm supposed to put in the note on this, but I forgot to tell you. But it's about Danny Levy. He resigned his job at Spurs. So let's get to know how will you rate Danny Levy's 24 years tenure at Spurs? What do you think are the highs and the lows of his tenure at Spurs?
I think, first and foremost, the first thing that struck me was how long he had been in the role. 24 years? 24 years he had been in the role.
Yeah, 24 years.
Yeah, overseeing 16 managers, and only had two trophies to show for it. I mean, if you look at the statistics, it doesn't look great. Billions of pounds invested into the club, uh, and a
Yeah,
lot
one
of
point something billion pounds.
yeah, and a lot of top class coaches have come through and come. I think it's good. Is mixed. Is mixed. I think in terms of on the pitch matters. I don't think he has allowed the club to really progress the way he should have. You're right. Over time he has had top coaches come in and just and they would do well for a while, but when he begins to have a bit of a hiccup, he lets go and puts in another coach. We restart the whole process. I believe that this Tottenham team over of this the club has undergone several surgeries in his time there, which probably didn't need to happen. There were some managerial appointments that did not need to happen, and there were some managerial sackings that did not need to happen. I felt that the Moreno appointment was not right for him as was not right for him. There are several others that he didn't really look at. He didn't really probably should have thought more about before hiring. And then for even firing, I felt that likes of Harry Regnabb and even Ange Postecoglou for me were coaches that probably should have been given a bit more in terms of a chance to continue what they were doing at the club. Um, there will be many. It's kind of mixed on the pitch matters. I don't think he really helped the club at all. I don't think there was anybody that came in with that could implement a proper plan because they weren't given the time. We talk a lot about how Chelsea have hired and fired managers in the last 20-25 years. The record is just as bad when you look at Tottenham. Managers coming and going. Some managers you can't even remember that they actually coached that club. You look at Nuno Espirito Santo, you'll be like, whoa, he was there at some point in his career, and you know, so on the pitch matters, I don't think he has allowed this club to really evolve in the vision that it should be in. And I think that for a long time he was constantly trying to find the ideal manager for the club. And maybe they have come, and maybe they haven't come, but I feel that over time he hasn't allowed the team to develop on the pitch. Off the pitch, I think he has done amazingly well for the club. We're talking about a team that has got a new stadium. Tottenham is only one of, I think, only seven teams in the Premier League or even in Europe, or in seven, yeah, in Premier League or so. I think I can't remember where I saw that. That has had to move into a new ground in the 21st century, which is huge. Not many teams have made that investment, and the fact that he's been able to do that, oversee that, is something that we should applaud. We've gone from a club that in the 90s were battling for relegation because they had the money, but they could not attract the major superstars. Now you have big names coming to the club. They are able to attract some of the best players in Europe to come and play for them. It's a massive place if you want to really develop as a young player. The club is seen as the ideal place for you to come and play. So many superstars have been developed. I think the fact that under his watch you had a Hurricane step up and become one of the biggest names in English football should be a massive credit to the work that he has put into the level of coaching and facilities that have helped the academy, helped the first team. And commercially, they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. I think if you look at the way Tottenham was perceived at the start of the millennium and now, I think it's big. It's usually big. You have the fact that it is a club that can sell, that can attract, that whose players can attract massive fees of close to 100 million. You're looking Gareth Bale. You're looking at Luka Modric. You're looking at they've been so many. There've been a number of players that have gone on from there to play for massive clubs, and they will always be. I mean, Harry Kane moved to Bayern Munich as well. We're going to have more and more of those examples in the coming years, and it is down to the work that he has done. He has shown that you can negotiate for as much as you want for any player, and I think, I mean, we saw Newcastle insist that Isak must go for a world record fee, for a British record fee. You saw him insist. You saw Brentford insist that Mbeumo must go for what I think should be a record fee. Um, and it is because of guys like Daniel Levy that you are able to have this kind of scenarios, because he has shown that if the price of a player is whatever you say it is as the owner, and he has proven that. And I think these moves have made Tottenham to be, a top club. The whole concept of dare to do that you see in the stadium, I think, can be down to him, because he's the one that was brave enough to make certain decisions uh, and take certain stands. And I think, in general, people should respect him for what he has done off the pitch. So it's mixed. It's mixed. But I also think that they do not get to where they are without him, and I think he has done his bit. And I hope that I believe that whatever success that Tottenham have from this point on will be down to the work that he has done in the last 24 years. That's what I believe.
All right, thank you very much, Soccer Chatterbox, for your time on this show this evening. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on the show, because we just want to make it brief, because this is not a Premier League weekend or league weekend, so we'll have analyzed the games for the weekend. So, but looking forward to having you on the show very soon, Mr. Soccer Chatterbox.
I look forward to being back, and thank you very much for having me.
All right, do enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.